The earliest possible date for Guyana's next general elections is likely to be late September, according to Charles Corbin, an opposition-nominated commissioner of the Guyana Elections Commission. Corbin told reporters outside of GCOM headquarters this week that the election is constitutionally due between the 1st of September and the 1st of December 2025. There was a request for the production of a work plan that will provide an indication as to the earliest possible date, Corbin said.
That plan has been submitted. We have not had the opportunity to discuss it, but it does indicate, before I read, it does indicate that late September would be the earliest possible date in accordance with those considerations independently of the Secretariat that we'll be able to deliver. Our primary review of those, of the content of it, indicates that it is quite possible issues which we identified before may militate against that timeline based on all the considerations for which we have considered before and determined that the timing may not be in accord with some of those proposals. But in accordance with their proposal, the earliest possible time for an election being able to be delivered by GCOM would be late September. In accordance with the normal requirements, an election would be required anytime between the 1st of September and the 1st of December, provided that the president doesn't act before and call an election for which he has the prerogative anytime before that time.
According to Corbin, while there are these general considerations, there are internal requirements for the amount of time that should be elapsed between nomination and election day.
The amount of time, by our experience, between the extraction of a PLE and the delivery of an RLE and it being posted. And if you put that into consideration, you will find, there are other issues which are tied up both in legislation and in practical occurrence. So that, for instance, if you have an objection, there is a process during that has to be followed that require, how much time the person would have to correct something and so on. So there are lots of, while those are outside dates, internally there are specific procedures which have both a legislated time and a practical time. So for instance, the parties contesting the elections need to have in their possession the list for which they must use to get their nominators and candidates in their hands prior to nomination day. And so while that is not legislated, it is a consideration which GCOM will have to say, how much time do you make available the list from which the contestants would be able to comply with the requirements of the legislation.
Meanwhile, the parliamentary opposition has called for the introduction of biometrics verification and a clean voters list before the country heads to the polls.